Yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks. I've really enjoyed it. The place has been brilliant. I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to gel into the group. Adjusting to the climate, which is not always easy for a guy from Scotland, but I think I'm getting there now. But yeah, listen, it was good to make my debut at the last week as well. A difficult game. I think we're all disappointed that we didn't come away with 3 points, but it's all to play for this weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, we'll move to take first questions. Max?
Brian, tell us about your player, your position profile. You're a center back. Is there other areas that you can help the team in? And possibly it's fullback, in midfield.
Yeah, listen, I've played a few positions at fullback, centre mid as well, if need be. But ultimately, I'm just a player that wants to be out on the pitch and help the team. I think I've got good leadership qualities and a lot of things that you might not see on the pitch as well as off the pitch. So yeah, listen, I'm really excited to be here, and just want to try and hit the ground running.
You're given that opportunity, obviously, with the situation. There's been some injuries with Aaron Long and Maxime Chanot stepped aside. What has that period been like where new player now kind of being thrust into a bigger role?
Yeah, listen, it's something that I've always kind of thrived on is trying to help the group, help the younger lads in the team, and it's something that's always came naturally to me. So, I won't shy away from it here. And obviously we've lost some big players through injury, and it's time for other players to step up now. So hopefully I can be one of them.
All right. Any questions? Raise your hand. Derek?
Ryan, I'm Derek with the Korea Daily. So how would you compare the atmosphere or the differences that you feel between England and the US?
Of course, it's different. It's a different culture, but I've spoke previously and said that I think times have changed from players my age and coming from that league, that we don't want to come over now to see out our career and and have a to the end of it, but it's a place now where we want to come in our prime years of our career and and really try and progress ourselves and progress the league. So yeah, it's been brilliant. The facilities, the infrastructure is growing every single year here, and I hope that I can help as much as possible with that.
How would you compare the progression of the players between England and the MLS?
Yes, it's different. I think English Championships, it's a tough league, a very direct league, but I think it's good for young players to experience that and toughen yourself up as much as possible. I think this league's very technical, but you've got very powerful, explosive players in this league as well, and players in forward areas in particular that have got immense quality. So we're lucky enough to have a few of them. So hopefully I'll be playing with them rather than against them.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Sarah with KBS America.
Hi.
So Ryan, with a player like Sonny joining of LAFC, how does his presence influence the defense?
Yeah, obviously bringing in a superstar like Sonny's going to draw a lot of attention to the team. But as players, I think it was probably a good time for me to sign, so I can just slip under the radar a little bit. But no, everyone in the building's so happy to have him on board, and I think the fans have every right to be very excited. Thank you.
Any other questions on site? Oh yeah, Josh.
Ryan, good to see you.
Hi.
You joining a club where the head coach is a defender, former defender. What have you made of the conversations you've had about Steve, what he wants from you, and how you guys work together defensively?
Yeah, listen, Steve had a fantastic coaching career, but also had a great career playing at a very good level in Germany. So I'm hoping that I can learn a lot of him. I think LA have been a team, particularly this season, that are hard to beat. They don't concede many goals. So hopefully I can add to that. I think the next thing is just maybe keeping clean sheets and getting on a little bit of a run that way. But I've been very impressed with the structure and the organisation of the defensive side of things so far.
Is there something in particular about the reason you've been impressed? What's impressed you?
I think just the whole attitude towards the game. I think it's different to what the stereotype is about this league, and the last couple of years have definitely changed that. So I think it's went from being a possibility to coming out here to something that I really wanted to drive, and then the conversations that I had with the manager and the hierarchy upstairs, that they sold the club to me. They sold the ambitions of silverware every season, and it's something that in the short space of time that the club's been, its existence is they've been successful and they've won trophies. So I'm hoping to add to that. Thank you.
All right, we'll move to take the last question online. Kelso, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Ryan. Quick question on, you mentioned the defensive work and everything that you're responsible for, but a lot of people that may not know you, you seem to have scored a lot of goals in your career, with corner kicks and such. How have you impacted the game, and are you looking to basically score also the way you did in the championship?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've always tried to pride myself on is getting on the end of set plays and trying to contribute to the team as much as possible. I think it's very important not to have to rely on your goal scorers or your forward players to have that weight on their back the full time, and it's important for the whole team to try and chip in. And it's something I've got a pretty good record, but hopefully I can keep adding to that with the quality deliveries and the set plays opportunities that I'll get here.
Much like we did within the 90 minutes in Dallas. And so we have solutions already in a roster. I think between Markey and Matt, they did a great job filling in that hole for us. Depending on the opponents, depends on the players we have available, we'll find the right solution. But there's many ways to cover that hole, and we'll do our best to compensate. I think Igor is an important player for us. But this team's ambitions are high and great, and we expect to win our home games, and nothing changes tomorrow.
We spoke with Ryan, and obviously he's a new player here. How do you see his integration with the team, and what kind of player do you think you have with him?
Yeah, I think we have an emotional leader on the team too, and so I think you saw his aggressive way of interpreting the game in our system in Dallas already, and in training as well. Yesterday, one of the few voices I heard on the field as well in training, and so it's comforting to see that Ryan feels comfortable enough to help us in those regards as well. And he's a good organizer, an emotional leader, but also just a good player, and he's experienced enough to help us immediately. And those are our expectations. Also tomorrow. Saturday.
Steve, could you address Maxime Chanot's retirement? Obviously a guy who wanted to be on the field and did everything he could to be on the field. Didn't work out that way. As you do that, also the realities of being a professional footballer and head injuries, if that's something you could address as well.
Yeah, Max and I have had a lot of conversations over the past couple months. I went through a similar situation ending my career earlier than I wanted to, due to injury, different injury, but also injury. And there's a process that takes place in an athlete where you change your perspective a little bit about your job, about your future. I think hearing those experiences from someone who's been through it makes it easier. I think it can make you think about certain things, different things. What I can tell you, what I share with Max is there is something bigger and better and more satisfying out there than what you're currently experiencing or trying to hold on to. And it's a short shelf life being a professional athlete. For some it goes very quickly, but in Max's case, I think he was professional for almost 20 years. He's won a lot of trophies. He's had a lot of experiences. He's traveled the world. He's had a wonderful career and was an amazing guy for us to rely on the field, but also in the locker room, and somebody who we'd love to see around here long term. Where that goes, that's up to Max, his family, and the organization. But he's a guy you want around your organization, and I know Max is going to have a wonderful second career.
When we look at San Diego and what they're doing in their first year, they're in that race for the supporters shield. Just the style of play, the way they press, how young players have stepped up. Are you surprised about what you're seeing out of San Diego right now, and what they represent as an opponent at this moment of the season?
If you just look at the players they have and the quality they have and they brought in this season, it's not surprising. I I'd be lying if I would have picked them to be in first place at this point at the beginning of the season. So I'm honest enough. But when you watch them play and you analyze them play, it's definitely not surprising. It's very effective. It's very vertical. It's very consistent. They do not sway left or right when certain opponents come or challenges appear. And so I've only good things to say about what Mikey's done as a coach and how his players have interpreted what he wants to see on the field, and them of an organization. They've done a great job. I do think we can beat them, and I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup on Saturday.
Real quick. Of course, the LAFC was different as well than last time you guys were down in San Diego, especially the attack now with Sonny. Just how different will LAFC and how do you feel the team has changed since then?
Well, hopefully the first 30 minutes look a little different. I think we had a really poor first 30 minutes. Looking back at my notes, our players really didn't implement our match plan the way we asked them to. They started at about minute 30, and the game also looked differently then. And recently we've been pretty good, so I'm not too concerned. Yes, I think we do look different. We have another obviously threat up top. But that's not how you beat San Diego. You don't beat them with one player or one play. It has to be a collective effort. More importantly, against the ball than with the ball. And I do think we have the tools to break them down, but keeping their potent and consistent vertical attack in check takes a lot of coordination, work, and communication. And that's what we've been working on.
We're going to finish up with Derek right here.
I think so. There were a few transitions within the team's roster recently, not just injuries, but in and out at the same time. How did it impact the future games?
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of the MLS, or if you're at FC Chelsea, there's a lot of movement. But we're used to getting new players onboarded and saying goodbye to other players, but having a roster finish at the beginning of the season and working with that group for the entire season is better. If your season is going well. Now, if your season is not going well, then you want to make some changes and have some fresh motivation and players come in and kind of give you some wind in your sails. So sometimes you just have to weigh up how things are going and what's necessary. And the changes we've made have all been because we needed to, with the exception of Sonny. But yeah, I think most coaches will tell you continuity is better. But it's one of the things you deal with in the MLS. There's a lot of fluctuation in rosters, sizes, and names. But I think we do a very good job here at LAFC of integrating these players as soon as possible.